Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Module 3, Innovating with Google Forms, Part 1. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about how to create curriculum-based interactive digital escape rooms. Let's get started. Now, when most people think of Google Forms, they think of quizzes, surveys, and assessments. But I'm here to tell you that Google Forms is capable of a lot more. And the things it's capable of are going to keep your students engaged and excited about learning. By combining what we learned in Module 2, Efficiency with Forms, which was response validation and branching, you can create puzzles, clues, passwords, and interactive adventures that help inspire your students to succeed. Okay, so I'm going to get started by showing you an escape room that I built for my students. This escape room is called Escape the Cyclops Lair, and it is all testing them all about their knowledge of the Greek and Latin roots fon, vis, and odd. So you can see there's a little directions here so students know what to expect in this escape room. So why do escape rooms work? Students love a mission. And when they're doing these escape rooms, they feel like they're solving a mystery rather than just completing an assignment. Even though looking at this escape room may seem a little overwhelming, all great escape rooms follow 7 simple steps. So they have a storyline, they have sections, questions, clues, passwords, branching, and images. So let's go ahead and walk through each of those 7 pieces in my escape room so you can try these things out on your own. Okay, so the first thing you need is a story to get your students engaged and motivated, to give them the why behind the activity. So in my story, I have Escape the Cyclops Lair. I told my students that their teacher has been kidnapped by a Cyclops, and the only way to free her is to unlock the different challenges. Challenge 1 is odd, challenge 2, viz, challenge 3, fon. So our story is set, and the students know what's expected from them from the beginning. You can be as creative as you want with your story. Whatever you think it is that's going to motivate your students, whether it's save the principal from a hydra or stop a mad scientist, you can create your own unique experience. So the next thing I want to show you is the layout of an escape room. So it's divided into 7 sections. That's because I have 3 challenges. If you have more challenges, obviously you'll have more sections, less challenges, less sections. But the way it works, if you have 3 questions, is you have an introduction section, then you have challenge 1 and challenge 1 unlocked, challenge 2 unlocked, challenge 3, and then your final victory screen. So you can see on my escape room here, I have challenge 1, which is odd, and they have their link for challenge right there, which I'll talk to you about in just a second. And then I have my challenge success. This is challenge 1 success. So challenge 2 is now unlocked. Then I have challenge 2 success, challenge 3, and then of course your final victory screen that gives students the completion of I solved the mystery. Okay, now let's talk about challenges. There are many different ways that you can incorporate your challenges into a Google form. You could type them directly onto the Google form, which is the simplest and easiest way to do it. You could also get screenshots or PNGs of activities or worksheets that you have and upload them that way. Or my personal favorite is to create a Google slide and then do a forced copy. Remember, that's when you erase the word edit and change it to copy, and you link that forced copy in there. It's my favorite because it allows students to actually manipulate and edit the slide. So if it involves them needing to remember letters or numbers, they're actually able to type it into the slide instead of trying to hold that in their memory. So now inside of each challenge, you need to find a way for your student to collect clues, which will create a password. So let's look at an example at my challenge 1 here. Notice the forced copy, so students won't be editing over each other's work. Each student gets their own copy. So students are presented with the directions, and then they have different questions. I want you to notice how just because this has been gamified, the rigor is still high. So in this particular sense, students are being asked which vocabulary word describes this situation. And in this case, the vocabulary word is auditorium. So they would go ahead and spell it out. I highly suggest if you do something like this, a word bank, so students don't get confused and say it's not working. And you'll notice that the highlighted yellow letter T is what students are going to want to remember and take away from this. As they complete all of the puzzles, they're going to be able to uncover that it spells out tone. And now they're going to be able to go right back to their Google form and they would type in tone, and it's going to unlock them to the next level. So that's how those challenges work with those clues. Now I want to talk about how we made that happen. So what we did was we went over here, and this is response validation. So I would click this ... and I clicked response validation. Then I said I wanted this to be text. It's a short answer question. I want it to be text, and I want the text to contain the word tone, which was my challenge word, my clue that they uncovered in that challenge. And then if they get it wrong, I like to give them a helpful hint. So I said, that's not correct. Please try again. Make sure you're writing your answer in all lowercase letters. So now here comes the magic of moving from one room to the next, and that is using branching. So down here, after they've completed section 2, I want to branch them to go directly to section 3. Okay, so far we've talked about building a story, having sections. If you have 3 questions, remember you need 7 sections. Having questions or challenges, embedding clues inside of those questions and challenges, having passwords that are created based off of these clues, and branching. Now we're going to talk about images. It is super important to incorporate images into your Google Form escape room because it's going to keep your students attentive and engaged. But you do not need to go all out and spend hours upon hours on images. You can use Canva graphics, icons, Bitmojis, Google Drawings. You could use AI to generate things. You can use whatever tools you have available to just put some images in to make your story engaging. Now, before I let you go, I have some quick teacher tips for you. So tip number 1, and I'm sure as a teacher, you know this already, but students do not read directions. Directions should appear on the challenge pages, not 3 screens earlier. You cannot expect your students to hold that in their brain when they're doing their challenges. And also, whenever possible, turn your directions into infographics. When you add a visual to directions or to text, it reduces the cognitive load, which is what your student's brain is holding at one time, and it helps reluctant readers to fully understand what's happening. So let me show you an example of what I mean by an infographic. But here I had a whole page of directions, and it was quickly revealed to me that the students did not read my directions. So I turned it into an infographic. Now there's pictures that go with each direction. Now, don't worry, this did not take long at all. AI can help you easily create these. Just take your directions and you could input it into something like Copilot, ChatGPT, or even Canva, and it can turn it into this infographic for you. And my second teacher tip is keep it simple. Please, your first escape room does not need to be the Olympics of escape rooms. Stick with 1 story, 3 challenges, 3 passwords, and 1 victory screen. That's all students really need to have an engaging learning experience. All right, before you try some of these things on your own, I want you to think for a moment. What content are you teaching that could become an escape room? Remember, when you take learning and turn it into an escape room, students aren't just answering questions, they're completing a mission. And when students are mission focused, they're far more motivated to persist, problem solve, and succeed. Okay, so now it's your turn. Go ahead and check out those Thompson tips on the next slide. And then I have a checklist of things for you to try on your own so you can get closer to being that Google Master. And I'll see you in part 2 as we look at how to use forms to help us track student behavioral data. See you then.